Hi, my name is Gibson, and I'm the co-owner and creator of the Personal Development School. This is your daily breakthrough video, and in this video we are going to talk about the fearful avoidant attachment style and their dating checklist. Okay, so we have a part 1 of the series. If you haven't seen that, that's a foundational part, so please make sure you go check that out. I will put a link for that in the description box below, as well as a link for our With You 25% off membership bundles coupon code SALE, which gives you access to all 35 plus courses. We add 2 new ones every single month, and I do 4 live ongoing webinars every single week with people to answer their questions. We have community, a Discord chat channel, all of that great stuff, and we're gonna hold this promotion basically until all the COVID isolation stuff changes, just to support everybody as much as we can. So check that out. I'll put a link here and I'll put a link on the video as a card. But let's go right into talking about the fearful avoidant. And by the way, if you want to do a deeper dive, you're looking for the advanced attachment style courses that talk about all of the 6 stages, your checklist, what you need, what the rites of passage are to progress into the next phase, and those will take place in those specific courses. So in the first part, we talked about how important it is to be intentional, to be clear about your boundaries, know your boundaries ahead of time, make sure that you're evaluating if this person is a good fit for your life and vice versa. And we sort of did a deeper dive into a bunch of those things, as well as we sort of touched on trust and the importance of being open to trust and differentiating between sort of red flags versus and non-negotiables, red flags and non-negotiables versus things that you might not like, but that you could communicate about and find out that they could be solvable problems instead of deactivating and shutting down completely, which sometimes FAs might do. So from these points forward, another really big thing you want to focus on as the fearful avoidant is you want to know, am I taking care of within myself the things that I'm hoping other people will take care of outside of myself? Okay, this is another really important piece of your checklist. Why? Because fearful avoidants often get into dynamics where they are so good at caretaking for others that sometimes they will feel like the moment I enter into a romantic relationship, there's like a mutual exclusivity between having a relationship to myself versus having a relationship to somebody else. So literally you can get into this framework of thinking like, if I'm dating somebody, I will lose myself because I can't take so much care of another person and myself at the same time. And part of that is because there's some codependent pieces in there where you expect yourself to be showing up to the nth degree and taking care of other people's feelings and behaviors and patterns and actions and how they show up. And sometimes in the mix of all of that, you can forget about you. So a really good sort of way of reframing this and checking in is, am I taking as good care of my health and myself as I am for others? But am I also looking at situations and evaluating what I expect from somebody else and then also giving those things to myself? And until we do that, sometimes we can block ourselves from receiving those things from others because our subconscious mind doesn't have a comfort zone around receiving things that we're not giving to ourselves in the first place. It feels unfamiliar. Unfamiliarity feels like it's unsafe. And then we feel like, oh my goodness, if we're not safe, we might not survive. Let's stay in our comfort zone. Let's keep not getting what we're hoping for at a conscious level if it's not something we're used to. So we break that pattern by giving these things consciously to ourselves repeatedly until it becomes normal. And then we feel safe and easy to receive those same things from others. An example could be compliments, encouragement, words of affirmation. Could be somebody showing up and just being emotionally supportive of you, seeing your feelings, understanding you. We have to give those things to ourselves first, okay? The next piece on our checklist is, am I in balance with people pleasing? Am I abandoning myself anywhere because I'm people pleasing? So check in with all 7 areas of life. FA is similar to AAs, can have the pattern where they, brush aside their career or their finances. Maybe they're spending all their money on dates. Maybe they're not showing up for work because they're out late with this new person they're dating. And sometimes FAs can throw parts of their lives sort of on the back burner and then feel the cost of that later on. And usually what can happen too is if we start sort of diminishing other areas of our life, career, financial, mental, emotional, spiritual, physical, or the other relationships in our life, like friends and family, then you can become over-reliant on the romantic relationship because you've made that the center of your universe. And it becomes this vicious cycle because if you're over-giving there and putting all this emphasis and expectation on that, then you're putting other things on the back burner, they're not going to go as well. You're going to feel disempowered by those other areas of life, which means you're then more likely to put even more focus and emphasis on the specific relationship. And this can create a lot of dynamics for having a lot of expectations, for feeling very resentful or burdened or betrayed if somebody doesn't reciprocate that to you and doesn't put all their life on hold to give to you the way you are to them. Or you can really get into dynamics where if something goes wrong in the relationship, it hurts significantly more as well, and it feels like the weight of the world is on you. So it's really important to be aware of having balance across all 7 areas of life. And just because you enter into a new relationship, it doesn't mean that you should be throwing anything else away, okay? The next really big piece of the checklist for the FA is, am I communicating clearly who I am and what I expect from others? Sometimes FAs, again, can be so worried about seeing somebody else and connecting so much to them that you can leave yourself unseen without realizing it. And part of what's required, and maybe sometimes you have a subconscious strategy not to show all parts of yourself because you have certain negative associations towards vulnerability, and this could be a protective mechanism or a defense mechanism. But sometimes you'll be so good at seeing somebody else and fitting into their life and their reality that you'll kind of try to mold into their life instead of being like, no, we both have to meet each other halfway. And part of being able to do that requires your capacity to be able to say, here's who I am. These are my traits. These are my qualities. These are my hopes and dreams and wishes for the future. Do you see yourself meeting me halfway on that? And also, here are the things that are important to me in a relationship, and here are my boundaries, and here are my needs, okay? So these are really important, and this really goes in line with, am I communicating my needs? Am I communicating my feelings? Am I practicing vulnerability? Am I staying open to trusting like we discussed in the past? And then really, am I paying attention to red flags too? Because sometimes when we have, missing things from our lives, we can be so focused on getting those buckets filled. Like if somebody represents love and affection and you haven't had a lot of love and affection in a long time, or in the way that this person is presenting it to you, and so you feel like it's so special, sometimes your brain can be so focused, your subconscious mind can be so focused on getting these needs met that it's willing to like use the reticular activating system, which is the filtering sort of system in your brain to a certain degree, to filter out the red flags. And so sometimes we have to just check in and be like, am I checking back with my boundaries and my non-negotiables? And am I evaluating if there is a red flag? And am I showing up in the relationship to myself if there is one, to either communicate about it or set a harder boundary if necessary in order to proceed? Okay, so this is another really important factor, okay? Then our next question is, am I speaking up when I feel frustrated, or am I just burying my resentment and it's going to come out in a different way long term? And it is so important that you practice speaking up. This is a huge part of being successful in the dating phase, so you can have a more, a nicer, more smooth honeymoon phase. And then by the time the power struggle phase comes along, you've done all the work in advance to be able to move through that and navigate through that really challenging phase of anybody's relationship as effectively and efficiently as possible, okay? And the other last really important point here is, am I questioning my stories and communicating instead of making assumptions? Very important as well. So thank you so much for being here. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe if you're getting a lot of value out of this channel, and I will see you in the next video.